Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live. The whole crew's here. That's Ken Francis. I'm Craig Fissinger. TK and Heavy D are back in the sound room. Ken, it's tournament time. It's crazy. It's fun. That's because a lot of local teams are still playing ball right now, aren't they?
Absolutely, Craig. You know, we've got lots of boys teams, lots of girls teams, Shelby County League, MAC. And, everybody's, it's that time of year, Craig. The fans are on the edge of their seats. There's been great games, exciting overtime games, and some nail-biters out there, Craig. And tonight was no different. And, we look for more to come tomorrow night and over the weekend. And, nothing better than March Madness, and we're almost in March.
All right, well, to help us talk about some of those tournament runs tonight, we've got a couple special guests, don't we?
Absolutely, Craig. We're going to talk to Robb Hemmelgarn from the Daily Standard out of Salina, and also Jackson Center head coach Scott Elchert. And really looking forward to talking to those two guys tonight.
All right. Well, before we do that, just like we do every week, got to get to that weekly trivia question. What do you got for me tonight?
All right, Craig. Well, listen, the Russia Lady Raiders on Saturday will be going for another district championship in girls basketball.
That's right, yep.
How many previous district championships have the Lady Raiders won?
Ooh, how many previous district championships? All right, you going to give me some options here?
Yeah, we'll go with the odd numbers, 3, 5, 7, or 9.
3, 5, 7, or 9. All right. Well,
previous basketball girl district championships.
So they've got a few at least. All right. Well, I'm going to need some help on that. I'm going to send that on Twitter, and I will try to answer that by the end of the show. All right.
All righty. Sounds good.
All right. Well, listen, let's get things started. We're going to start out talking some girls basketball. We're going to start out up in the Northwest where most of the MAC teams play their tournament ball. Actually, a very good MAC team last Saturday. Marion Local got beat by a very good MAC team in Minster. Minster plays in the district semifinals on Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Before that, another MAC team, New Knoxville, they play at 6:15. So a couple good games there. Ken, if those two teams win, they will actually meet up and play each other. So that should be really good. And to help us talk about those teams tonight is, like you just mentioned, sports writer for the Daily Standard, Robb Hemmelgarn. Looking forward to talking to him. And like I said, we're going to talk about those MAC teams, and should be a couple good battles on Thursday, shouldn't it?
Absolutely, Craig. We're really looking forward to those semifinal matchups. The MAC teams, they square off up there, and they pull in teams also, from Upper Scioto, Ada, and those other surrounding counties. So should be some good games.
All right. Well, I believe we've got Robb live on the phone right now. Robb, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, listen, it's good to catch up with you during this busy time of the year. I just mentioned you're a sports writer over there at the Daily Standard. For our viewers out there that aren't familiar with you, why don't you tell them a little bit about what you do and how busy you are right now?
Absolutely. Been at the Daily Standard in Salina. This is going to end this school year, be my 14th year there. Been there covering games, and about once a week during the season, I get a game. This time of year, it's a little bit busier, obviously, so probably hit about a couple tournament games a week, maybe 3 or 4 games. And on a weekly basis, I also do a feature piece that takes a look back on mainly the coverage area, Salina, St. Mary's, and most of the MAC, where we take a look back at past athletic teams, coaches, players from years past, and kind of rerun their story and relive their story a little bit, either their playing careers or significant seasons.
All right, well, listen, tonight we want to talk about those girls' district semifinal games on Thursday night. But before we get to that, though, it seems like we're always talking about these MAC teams making deep tournament runs, whether it's girls, boys, basketball, football, whatever. I mean, you cover those teams, Robb, so we'll ask you, in your opinion, why do the MAC teams excel so much, not only during the regular season, but also during the postseason?
It's been a question that's come up in around different media around the state. Once you get to the state tournament, and reporters from other areas, they know about the MAC and about this area well, and it's a pretty common question that comes up. And a lot of it, I don't know if there is really a secret, so to say, to that success, but you got just a lot of teams that they battle each other during the season, week in and week out, and it's a lot of outstanding competition among the schools. And normally by the time they get down the tournament trail or through the playoffs, they've already played in those big games. They've played in front of big crowds. They've played in hostile atmospheres, and they're battle tested, and that that helps a lot, especially when you face teams maybe that don't have that opportunity week in and week out like they do in this area.
Rob, hi, this is Ken Francis, and to follow up a little more on the MAC teams, volleyball teams, basketball teams, you know, you hear a lot of chatter up there in the MAC country about the teams, how they have to all face each other in the sectionals. There's always highly ranked state teams typically in that particular area, and they kind of beat each other up. And, you know, there's two ways to look at that. One is, you know, they have to beat each other up just to get out of the district, but the other way to look at that is they're almost always guaranteed a team in the regionals. So how do you look at the spin on that, and do you ever see anything changing?
Well, you know, that's obviously been a hot topic here the last couple days, and you know, as I found out and dug a little further, it's touched a nerve with area coaches for the last 10, 15 years plus. It's you know, one of those situations where you're right, we got ranked teams and teams that are very good that face each other during the season. They're all bunched together right at the beginning of the tournament, and you know, the argument against that is you know, in a tournament setting, it should get a little bit more difficult each level you go. But unfortunately, the way it's been set up here is they have a lot of their most difficult tests right at the very beginning, and you know, there's this weekend a lot of good teams that are sitting at home when, you know, if they were in a district or a different sectional format, they may be able to advance a few games and enjoy their season a little bit more. But, you know, at the end of the day, one team can only get out and one team can only win a state title. So, you know, it's just a shame, and it's really upsets a lot of coaches that, you know, it has to end so quick against good competition.
Let's talk a minute about Thursday night's games. First, we'll talk about the Lady Rangers of New Knoxville. They're currently riding a 17-game winning streak. They're as hot as anyone around right now. How do you see their game against Ada, the first game Thursday night? What do you see happening in that game?
First off, I don't know how New Knoxville didn't end up the season ranked in the top 10 of the state. I mean, they've got 4 losses this year. 3 of them are to teams that won their respective conferences. They lost to Fort Laramie, they lost to Lima Bath, and they also lost to Minster and Versailles. And Minster's that 4th team who plays second in their conference. So they have as tough a schedule as anybody, you know, that's still going to be playing this weekend. And they're very hot, like you said. They've won a bunch of games in a row, and they're led by 3-time MAC Player of the Year, Haley Horseman. She's averaging about 15 points a game, and she's got great support from Meg Reinecke. She's second team All MAC, and Paige Lehman, she's a senior, first team All MAC. So they've got a great core. They've got a veteran coach. You know, Ada, they're below 500. They don't obviously play the strength of schedule that New Knoxville has. So, you know, on paper, I don't see New Knoxville having too much trouble. But again, it's tournament time, and you never know. But you got to see them as a favorite.
The second game tomorrow night, you've got Minster taking on Upper Scioto Valley. They're both number 1 seeds in their particular sectionals. We know a little bit about Upper Scioto Valley. They took on the local Lehman Cavaliers here, but we know a lot more about Minster. They actually went 4-0 against Shelby County League teams this year, which is always a very tough conference. And they beat the defending state champion Fort Laramie Redskins earlier in the year by 14 points. What do you see coming out of that game?
You know, again, it's, you know, Minster, they've been there before. USV has been there before in the district, and you've got 2 coaches that have been around a long time. And, you know, I got to give Minster the edge again, strength of schedule. They've you know, been there before, like I said. But I think it'll be a little bit better of a matchup than New Knoxville and Ada. USV has, you know, they're 14-8 right now, 4-game winning streak. You know, they're led by a freshman who's averaging 16 points a game, and she was first team in their league. So, you know, once she gets in that tournament atmosphere, though, sometimes, you know, freshmen, you don't know how they're going to react to it. But if Minster lets them hang around long, it could be a great battle in the end. But if Minster can establish themselves and play as well as they have played at points this season, I see it being a New Knoxville and Minster matchup on Saturday if all goes according to how it should on paper.
All right, well, we love to see that, Rob. And listen, one more question and we'll let you go. Now, we often hear the MAC referred to as the best small school conference in the state. I'd like to take that a step further and find out who the best team in the MAC is. And I understand you have just the formula to do that, so this ought to be good. Lay it on me.
Well, I didn't reinvent the wheel at all. A couple of years ago, the Western Buckeye League, Salina, St. Mary's, there in our area, they have an all-sports award that they give out based on points at the end of the season. Teams that are in a league, they however they finish that season, first place gets 10 points, second place gets 9 points, third place gets 8 points, and so on. They do that for each sport, and then they tally up the points at the end. And a couple of years ago, I played around with it with some of the final standings throughout the whole year that I had for the MAC, and kind of been keeping up on that. And the other day, I finished up the fall and winter seasons, and at this point, Versailles is the front runner. Minster's real close behind. I think then it came St. Henry, then Coldwater, then Marion local. So it's just one of those things. There's really nothing official in the MAC, just something I kind of do just to see, based on their overall sports final standings, who ends up as, I guess, the overall winningest team in the league based on that. So nothing official, just something kind of fun and just something for people to talk about.
Rob, I think I just heard a cheer from Versailles over here in Russia.
So, well, it was kind of interesting with that. Marion Locals won 3 MAC titles, football, volleyball, and now boys basketball. And, Versailles, they've, placed third or fourth or maybe second here in all those sports. And, those little bit higher finishes will get you more points. So they still got the spring season to go yet, so we'll see how it ends up.
I think all the Marion local fans just turned us off, Ken.
I think so.
All right, listen, Rob.
Hey,
go ahead.
There's track and baseball and softball yet.
True. Spring sports season. Marion, they usually do pretty well there. Well, listen, we're going to let you go, but I want to thank you for all you do for the Daily Standard. We enjoy reading your stuff, and it's been nice talking to you tonight, and thanks for joining us on the show.
Hey, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and good luck the rest of the way to you guys.
Thanks, Rob.
Take
All right, that was sports writer for the Daily Standard, Robb Hemmelgarn, Ken, and we're talking about Northwest girls basketball. Do want to talk some Southwest girls basketball because that's what we're most interested in. For that, we want to go back to the sound room, talk to the guys back there. Guys, give us the scoop. Got a Super Saturday coming up. What do you got?
Yep, we had a great Sydney sectional. I want to give a shout out to a fan that hung around after the Laramie game, Bill Eilerman. Bill was keeping stats the whole Army game, and I think he was keeping stats for the Russia Raiders. Bill, if you're listening tonight, didn't see you wearing the Fish Report shirt that you have, and I'm sure that we'll see you down at Tip City here in the districts. And if you're not wearing the Fish Report shirt, we're going to ask for it back. So keep an eye on that, Bill. And also talking about what we have coming up for the Lady Raiders, we've got Lady Raiders locking horns with Felicity Franklin, who's 17-5 so far in the year. They're actually south of Cincinnati. So to get to Tip City, Felicity's got to come about 2.5 hours by bus. They're led by sophomore guard Ashley Moore, averaging about 15 points a game. Got a couple other sophomores and juniors. Not a really particularly tall team. 5'7", 5'8" is about what they go there. But apparently they're pretty quick and should be a pretty good matchup for the Raiders.
TK, what do you got?
All right, looking at one of the other top games down there. I don't want to skip too fast over probably the highlight team, which is Fort Laramie going up against Bradford. Bradford's having a great season, but I think Fort Laramie is probably going to take that one pretty easily. The other side is the Fayetteville Perry, the Rockets from Fayetteville Perry down in the Southern Hills Conference, coming in at 24-0. 7th in the state, go up against Covington. Very impressive record, led by 2 senior guards with 24 and 14 points per game average. But not sure how far they're going to go. They have yet to be challenged, Craig and Ken. Not played a team that's been ranked. So really not sure how well they're going to face up to some of the basketball challenges up here, but we'll see on Saturday.
Yeah, I saw a couple of those Fayetteville Perry scores, and I do notice they hit the century mark a couple times in the 90s. It sounds like they're fun to watch, but maybe the competition they were playing wasn't so great either.
Yeah, they're so far away. There's not a lot of cross-matching between teams, so really hard to say, again, how they're going to match up here. It should be an interesting game and see what Covington can do. They've got Jessie Crowell coming on really strong after an ACL injury she's got over, and I think they'll give them some challenges here on Saturday.
All right, looking forward to that. And guys, I think that's going to do it for our girls basketball talk. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some boys basketball, including that big interview with Jackson Center coach Scott Elchert. So stay there. We'll be right back.
My baby finally gave up on me. I can't say that I'll blame her. She just got tired of playing and losing games. I should suck on my pride and beg that girl to come back home. Deep down I know she's better off, 'cause fools like me are meant to die alone. Someone give me one good reason, one good reason to smile. I'm trying to be that guy my mother prayed that I would be. Some days I feel like hit the mark, some days I fail hopelessly. I think I'm alright, I just stumble from time to time. Oh, my mother knows I'm trying to be that guy.
All right, welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live. And before the break, we were talking some girls basketball. Now going to talk some boys basketball. And Ken and I and the crew here, we got a chance to watch the Russia Raiders and Bakken's Trojans go at it last night. Ken, Russia came into the sectional as the #1 seed, playing Bakken's there that ended up with a 4-19 record. And typically you don't expect games like that to be real difficult, but Bakken's never makes it real easy, do they?
No, they don't, Craig. Bakken's is always going to play hard. They're extremely well coached, and kids always play really hard for Coach Meyer. Bakken's came in, like you said, with a record of just 4-18. But anytime you play a team 3 times in one season, Craig, it's always tough. And the Russia Raiders responded very well. They jumped out to a quick early lead, Craig, and they really never left Bakken's in the game. And I think that was a very big part of that game. And you're right, Russia played very well last night.
Had a lot of guys in double figures as well, so that's always nice to see, too.
Yeah, they've had balanced scoring pretty much most of the year, Craig. They've got 4 or 5 different guys that can put up double figures, and that's what makes them dangerous.
All right, well, in that second game, that was Jackson Center and Lehman actually led that game for 3 quarters. Jackson Center came back in the end, won that one 49-38 for an 11-point victory. 3rd straight year in a row that Jackson Center is going to the sectional finals. And here to talk about that with us tonight is the head coach of the Jackson Center Tigers, Scott Elchert. And, Coach, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Craig.
All right, listen, congrats on getting to the sectional finals again. It certainly didn't come easy. You had to beat Fairlawn and Lehman, who were both tough opponents. But let's talk about that Lehman game real quick. They beat you a couple weeks ago at their place. How'd you turn it around this time?
Well, Lehman's, they're a very good team when they're hitting on all cylinders. And when we played them literally almost 2 weeks ago, it was 2 weeks ago to the day, when we were playing them, we knew that there was a good chance, hopefully, that we would be playing them in the second game of the sectional. So when we played them in the regular season, we decided we need to learn a lot about them. And one of the things that we gained was just how quick they are and their speed and how good they are in transition. so we adjusted from that standpoint. So when we came in last night, we understood their speed. Defensively, they're very good at allowing you to go around them and flicking the ball out. As a matter of fact, in the first game, they had 6 flicks from behind that resulted in points, and last night they didn't get any. We worked on that. So I thought that was huge. And then offensively, we just tried to take some advantages where we thought we had maybe some mismatches.
All right, well, certainly was a very nice win. Now, I noticed one really interesting thing when looking at your record this year. Even though you had 7 losses, Coach, this season, none of those were ever back-to-back. And most of the time, those losses seem to happen on a Friday, and then you bounce back again on Saturday. And I thought that was kind of remarkable. Do you think that's just a coincidence, or does that say something about your team?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and I'm impressed with your research because you're right. We actually never did lose a back-to-back. I think it was, one of those deals that just showed the resiliency of this young group that, they responded the right way after a loss. I mean, that's the only thing I could attribute to the fact that they were going to buckle down the next night out and try to get the job done. So that's what I would say is the most. Yeah.
Coach, hi, this is Ken Francis. And first of all, to let you know, we do a lot of research on this show, so we always try to get our facts straight when we talk to people. So, hey, one of your stars this year, no doubt, junior Gavin Wildermuth. I've seen Gavin play since about the 5th grade, and great player for you guys, recently named first team All-Shelby County League. What makes Gavin so special on your team?
I think really probably the one thing that's probably the most unnoticed just because of the way basketball has evolved. He is a tremendous defensive player, and he does a great job at studying his opponent, and especially who he's probably going to match up on. So, to me, the thing that makes him the most valuable is his defense and his mental preparation. And honestly, probably a lot of that comes from the guys that he's played with over the last few years. They were kind of the same way, and he's kind of taken that lead for this team, and that's been big.
Coach, you've always seemed to have some good young talent on that team. This year is no different. You've got Drew Sosby, Tupac Crooms, freshman Brady Wildermuth. What is it with the young athletes on your team that, and what makes it tough for you to get them to buy into your system?
Well, I'd say that as young kids, probably one of the biggest thing is the value of defending on every possession, especially in tough games, that every possession counts. So that's one of the things that we really emphasize. And then really just the discipline of staying in the scheme of each game plan, because that can vary, from each opponent. So that's one of the biggest things that we've emphasized this year.
All right, Coach, one more thing. I don't want to make Ken ask this question, so I'm going to ask it. It's Friday night, sectional finals, 2 Shelby County League schools going at it. What's going to determine who wins this game?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, it's awesome that 2 Shelby County League schools, playing in this final again, because I think it speaks volumes for our league and the competition that you face on a regular basis, night in and night out. But the thing about Rishi that I'm most impressed with is the fact that they're very good in all phases of the game: offense, defense, rebounding, pressure, and I think you have to be able to handle Rishi's pressure for 32 or plus minutes, depending on the game. And the other thing is you have to be able to rebound the basketball because there's such a great offensive rebounding team that you have to try to limit their second chances or, in some cases, third or fourth chances if you want to put yourself in a position to compete.
All right, well, we're certainly looking forward to it. And we mentioned an All-Shelby County League final, and that upper bracket, actually, it sounds like after tonight's results, it's going to be an All-Shelby County League final in the lower bracket as well between Houston and Fort Laramie. So going to be a lot of fun this weekend, that's for sure.
No doubt, and I think that speaks volumes to the league. It really does. I mean, it's I think there's this a great competitive spirit that comes out of Shelby County.
All right, well, listen, we look forward to seeing you this Friday night, and we really want to thank you for coming on our show tonight.
I appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, that was the head coach of the Jackson Center Tigers, Scott Elchert. And Ken, I'm really glad we got him on. Not only is he a good interview, but we've had every Shelby County League school on this program over the winter sports season, other than Jackson Center. We just got him in, didn't we?
That's right. You know, we tried to get a hold of every Shelby County League team, and, you know, it was really good to get a hold of Coach Scott Elchert tonight. We've got every team covered, and, you know, I guess good work on our part.
All right, and we mentioned that all Shelby County League finals on both Friday and Saturday night in the Piqua sectionals. Did want to hit on one other game. Let's go to Division III, Ken. Big game on Thursday night against Anna and Versailles. What do you see happening in that one?
Yeah, you know, Craig, two local teams there, Craig, that actually played each other earlier in the year. Versailles actually won that game. And interestingly, Craig, that was Kyle Arns' last game that he played. And if he chance that he could play tomorrow night, so it'll be his first game back, would also be against the Anna Rockets. So that's kind of an interesting thing right there. You know, I look for a very good game here with or without Kyle Arns. He's an exceptional basketball player, and I think Anna has been playing very well right now. You know, they've been battle tested all year in the tough Shelby County League, and, you know, I look for a great game and, you know, look for a shootout down there in Brookville.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing about that one. All right, that's about going to do it for us tonight. I do have one thing to get to, and that is that trivia question you asked me tonight. Why don't you give it to me again, and I'm going to check for Twitter answers here.
All right, Craig. Well, the Russia Raiders will be going after a district championship Saturday in girls basketball. How many previous district championships have the Lady Raiders won in girls basketball? Is it 3, 5, 7, or 9?
Boy, that's makes it tough, and I was going to go on the lower end there with maybe closer to 5, but I do have an answer here from Kevin B. And Kevin B says, Craig, I think it's 7, so I'm going to go with Kevin B. and go with 7.
Well, Kevin B. knows his Russia girls basketball because the Raiders have won 7 previous district championships in girls basketball.
All right.
The latest being in 2012, so hopefully they get number 8 on Saturday.
All right, well, nice job, Kevin B. And I think we're going to go back to the sound room one more time. The guy's got something going on back there. Guys, what do you got?
Yeah, we've got a little gift for water boy Ross Fissinger, also known as Minnow. He's been looking for an autograph. He's a big sports buff, been looking for an autograph all year. I was able to secure the autograph from Rushi Sr., number 21, Craig Fullenkamp.
Oh, man.
Rushi's, no, that's Fort Larmy. What am I thinking, Ross? My bad. Sorry, Craiger. Fort Larmy Sr., Craig Fullenkamp. On the back of the card it says, to Minnow, always play hard, Craig.
Wow.
Here you go, Ross.
Thanks.
Put that on your wall.
Even Ken and I don't have anything like that.
Nope, that's big.
That's a good deal.
That's a hot ticket item.
All right, well, listen, hey, special thanks to Craig Fullenkamp for the card there. That's pretty cool stuff. And also want to say special thanks to our guest tonight, Daily Standard sports writer Robb Hemmelgarn for coming on the show, and also Jackson Center coach Scott Elchert. Ken and I and the crew, we're all going to be back again next week, same time, same place, talking a little bit more tournament ball. But until then, have a great rest of the week, and good night, everyone.